with St. Paul United Methodist Church. Would you give us our invocation, please? Thank you, Reverend.
First, give it honor to God, who's the head of my life, to the president of the board, Supervisor Beverly Martin, and other members of the board, and also the guest that's here in attendance this morning. I come before you to offer prayer. First of all, good morning and Happy New Year's. It is prayer time. I want to share a prayer that I share as part of my ministry on a daily basis. It's called prayer time. And I would like to share this with you this morning. Father, empower us to be ready to see things differently in 2022. To not live the same year over and over and call it life. Enable us to be structured enough for success and achievement, and flexibility and flexible enough for creativity and fun. Remember us that on a road to success, the rule is always to look ahead, to stop waiting, stop sitting around, stop procrastinating, to see this in our time, to make it happen, to believe in ourselves, and to create some magic. Whether we want them or not, the new year will bring new challenges. Whether we seize them or not, the new year will bring new opportunities. Romans the 15th chapter, 13th verse says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope." Father, allow our mind and heart to see that there are greater things to be achieved in this new year. And each and every one of us must prepare ourselves to be great. Not by word of the mouth, but by a lot of sacrifices. Happy New Year's, Prayer Nation. In Jesus' name, as we speak this, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank the Board of Supervisors, and also County Rocco and Beverly, for giving me, and Kent John for this opportunity. I ask these blessings in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Rocco, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Our first order of business, order nominating and electing the president of the Board of Supervisors for the year 2022. Do we have a nominee?
Nomination for Kent Jones.
Do we have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Mr. Jones, would you like to take over?
We've been waiting to do that for a while.
I was going to nominate Beverly again, but she declined.
Second, item number 2, order nominating and electing the vice president of the board for the year 2022.
Motion to elect Supervisor Powers.
Second.
And no further discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item 3, approving the employment of Tim C. Holloman, Boss Holloman and Associates, the board attorney for the year 2022.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion, further discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item number 4, order approving the employment of Pamela Urge, County Administrator for the year 2022.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5, order approving the employment of Timothy L. Smith as road manager for the year 2022.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Item 6, order approving the employment of Jacqueline Turner as county engineer for the year 2022.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
She was fixing to object.
She's shaking her head.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Item 7, order approving the employment of Jody Westbrook as purchase clerk for the year 2022. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Item 8, order approving the employment of all existing employees of Harrison County for the year 2022. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 9, we recognize the Supreme Board of Basic Insurance to present insurance policy rules.
Thank you all. I have a one-pager in front of y'all. This is pretty much a recap of what we discussed in the December meeting. This does not look real bad, but it is pretty bad, and I'll explain the negativities. The All Lines Aggregate, our liability program, did very well, even after several changes throughout the course of this renewal. We're not seeing that on most entities, especially entities that have jails. And so with our law enforcement and our public officials liability, we've been seeing pretty significant increases. Obviously, we've not seen that here in Harrison County over the past couple of years as other entities have seen. And that deals with our controls that we have in place largely at the jail and in our SO department. So, and our legal team has done a good job defending us, as well as our adjusters. So they are owed the credit to that. We are asking for an increase on the amount that we pay our adjusters. They have not gotten an increase in about 14 years. They're currently getting paid $68 an hour. We're asking to go to $78 an hour, which brings them to the same level as other entities are paying. So that really means, less than $2,000–3,000 on an average basis annually with that increase, but we are asking for that. The large negative of this program is we're going from $96 million in coverage to $50 million in coverage in order to say that's how hard the market has gotten. The carriers did ask to increase our values. We pushed back on increasing our values this year, but we are going to have to increase them next year if inflation continues. But beyond that, the program pretty much stays the same. The deductibles have not changed. We're seeing a lot of deductible changes across the board. That's one good thing. We're able to buy our deductible, and the big change between what we delivered in December to now is the deductible buyback from 2% to 1%. It's $1 million worth of coverage. It costs $84,000. We felt like that was very prudent to do. We did not get rid of our flood insurance. There was only a savings of a little over $60,000 to do that, and we didn't think that was worth doing to have our flood insurance excess of the NFIP. So that is our program. One thing y'all asked us to do early on in the year last year was to go out on your workers' comp. We did go out. We got several quotes back. None of them were competitive to the pool at all. One thing that I have found here recently, because of the hardening of the market on the property side, public entities can enter into a captive. And so that's another way to risk transfer. And so we're going to look, I've communicated with Commissioner Cheney's office, we're going to look at possibly putting our deductibles and our comp in a captive that would act very similar to a self-insured program. It'd be our insurance program. We won't get the tax benefits that a private company would get, but it would create an asset for the county, and Cheney has said that it's legal to do. And so it's something that I never really thought of as a possibility, because it's normally a private sector deal, but I think that it's something we should definitely entertain looking at.
Frank, on workman's comp, being part of the pool, we don't really get a benefit so much if we actually reduce our claims.
You do,
Because-
well, here recently, you know, they know that we're marketing it pretty heavily. Here recently, I mean, we've got some pretty benefits of having no claims. I don't know what factor they play in that. I don't know how they underwrite their pool, but we have made the case over the past 3 years, and we've seen decreases over the past 3 years.
Not as significant compared to our claims. I mean, our annual premium for workers' comp is still at about 1.2 million a year, and our claims could come in at 350. But they base it on several factors, and one of it being payroll. But with our claims being low, they do take that experience factor into consideration, that it's maybe reduced at 75,000 each year.
The next closest quote was about 1.6 million on a first dollar basis. Obviously, if we could go self-insured, we could, but the captive model will allow the same thing as going self-insured.
Right.
We're gonna buy
Now, would y'all
insurance.
be the TPA on that, or how does that work?
Associated Adjusters would be the TPA. They're getting involved in your comp claims now at this point in reviewing y'all's comp claims. And what we're gonna recommend with the pool and our legal team and our adjusters, just to make sure that they're closing claims in a timely manner, because they're not allowing us to use our attorney now, is my understanding.
They have their own term, they do consult with us, all, especially on disputed claims, they consult with us quite often just to ask. I mean, the advantage of having the way the pool right now is the board has some input and say-so into what's going on with these claims. I mean, every once in a while I bring it to y'all, for the most part, they're calling and asking our advice. And there've been 3 or 4 claims I can call off the top of my head where myself and the lawyer agree, don't pay this claim, defend it, because it's just like our liability claims at the jail. You have to defend them and send the message you will defend them in order to reduce the claims. And over the years, that has worked. Now, you know, so they get involved and we have some say-so. When you have an insurance company, we will have very little say-so.
That's right.
They won't even
But
call
with
you.
this
They'll just say,
captive, we'll be
With the
self-insured,
captive,
we'll have all the say.
You'll have 100% say.
You know, the only thing bad about that is the danger of a bad claim. If somebody's catastrophically injured, then you're uninsured for that. I don't know if you can do.
We can buy
You can
reinsurance.
do
Right, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say, you may have some excess or you're.
So what we would do is, it'd be very similar to a self-insured program where we would buy reinsurance excess and we would control the claims below that.
And we defended the workers'
So
comp
we
claims
could
for a
go
while.
up, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna let you know, we did defend them for a while, and what happens is a new adjuster, the adjuster retired, a new adjuster came on, and she has her favorite attorneys, and she called and said, no to y'all, but I never worked with y'all,
But
I
on
worked with
this-
the attorneys I got.
On this
Always-
captive entity, I'll call it a pool for lack of a better word. We could set a bar of, say, 500,000 and then go get some reinsurance to cover anything over that.
Correct.
Right.
The rest of your employees it'd be very similar to all the municipalities that are self-insured. All employees would have $500,000 self-insured retention. Law and fire would have probably $750,000 or $1 million. And so we would have to work within that.
But if you had a catastrophic claim
Right.
for 2 or 3 million, then that reinsurer company
Correct.
would
Yeah.
pay that.
Correct.
I like
It would
that.
act very similar to self-insurance.
Yeah,
But it would also create an asset for y'all be able to set this aside the money and create a fund very similar to, I'm surprised the state will allow us to do this, but it's kind of a,
That's cool.
now let me understand something, especially as it relates to the pool. My understanding was it restricts our ability if we decide to fight a claim. In effect, somebody else is making the decision whether to pay it off or fight it. Well, normally, they pay it off and then it comes back next year on our premium, increase on our premium. Doesn't give us the opportunity, does it? Because that's what I always.
Technically, it does not, but the pool is much more cooperative in that respect than a insurance company, because insurance companies are looking at cost. They literally are looking at how much it's gonna cost them to defend a case, and they start settling regardless of merit of the case.
Well, they sell it because later on, the next
Right.
year's premium, they charge
That's
more.
right, but the pool's a little bit more hands-on. They actually, we just recently, I had probably 10 phone calls with the attorney, because their position was they wanted to defend it, and should defend it. And they called to see if I agreed with them, and they sent me the information, I reviewed it, and said, I do agree with you, defend it. And they are defending it, and they're gonna, just so, I can't talk about the claim individually, but they had a settlement offer that was basically 6 figures that went down to like 5 figures quickly after they said, no, we're not gonna pay. And the claim hadn't been resolved yet, but it does make a difference when you say no, whereas an insurance company says, I got a risk of losing, it's gonna cost me 50 grand, so let's throw 60 at it.
And we'll make up the difference next year in the premium.
The pool's gonna be a lot more aggressive because it's their money.
Yeah.
That's right.
The insurance carrier is law large numbers, they know the averages, and they'll move on.
And so they're dealing with hundreds of claims, and it's just an economic issue for them more than, I'm not faulting the insurance industry, they're in it to make money. But the pool does give you some input, is my point.
But this captive will act just the same way.
Well, if you do your own self-insured program, then you're in complete control.
It's like we just own the whole pool, as opposed to being in with the other company.
But you can also fund, if you're cash heavy, if you have good reserve money, and you can also fund in your captive things like your deductibles and.
Not unlike the tort funds do already.
That's
It's
right.
the same theory. You
Well, I
just
mean, your
set
property
aside that money.
deductibles too. You can put your property deductibles in there, you can put, a lot of folks, like right now, we can't get cyber liability for the county. A lot of, that's not unlike any other public entity right now because they want the multifunction passwords and all that stuff. You could put your cyber, we're seeing private companies starting to put cyber into captive, where they fund it ahead. If they have the cash, they fund it ahead. If they don't have any claims, then it goes into, that's just their money that they get to keep and make interest on. Not a lot of interest today, but it may be something that we want to look at. We are going to pursue it.
Yeah, I like that.
And let y'all take a look at it.
Sounds good.
The premium's roughly about a 300,000 increase.
It's a little less than 200,000.
A little less.
Supervisor Rocker, you got something?
Yes, sir. Frank, you and I have worked a long time on that NFIP on the federal level. So where are we now? Are they still kicking the can down the road, or how's that working?
Now, April 1, you'll start getting phone calls from citizens. We're losing grandfathering for existing policies. They've recalculated how they calculate premium, so it's not just based on elevation. Now it's based on elevation, distance to water, as well as modeling to include climate change. And so you're seeing massive increases. October 1 is for all new policies. On April 1, it's going to be for all existing policies. Homeowners will only get an 18% increase, and then commercial is a 20%.
18%.
They capped it at 18%. We originally had it capped at 8%. It went to 18%. FEMA knows that there's an issue with, it's the risk meter 2.0 that they've been rolling out for the last couple of years. They know that there's an issue with it. Hopefully Congress can get their act together, but so far they've passed 2 extensions of the current program as it sits, and I don't know that anything will happen.
Do we need any, do we need to regroup with the coastal counties and parishes, or?
Yeah, Louisiana's very well organized.
Mhm.
Louisiana and Alabama, their economic development groups are very well organized and together on it. We can definitely engage with Bill Labors, and I think Franklin City is here.
Here.
Yeah, and we can get with them to talk to them about what New Orleans and Mobile's done, but they've been very much on top of this.
Well, we work together with that 5-state caucus too on from National Association of Counties, and that is a good vehicle. It's always been in the past.
It's
Yeah.
a standing committee.
It's a standing caucus, and they go,
Yep. And we're on top of it as an issue.
I think I wrote you the first check the first time the guy came and said, what? Anyway, thank you for all your help with that.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank y'all.
All right, item 2.
Do we need a motion to approve? Frank?
Frank,
Frank, do you need any
Do we
action?
Need any action?
motion?
Y'all took action last meeting.
we did.
Okay. days.
Pardon?
We don't take action last
Took
meeting.
action.
Oh, we did last week.
I was just giving y'all an
What
update when
about
we
your
finally take
increases
action.
on your adjusters? Have we approved that?
That was in the same last.
That was in the
yeah.
same thing?
To improve the increase.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, for adjusters?
They do a lot of good work, so,
They're good. I mean, we don't make money. That's a
yeah.
Yeah.
break even type
Just want to make
situation.
sure we got it.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Item 10, order acknowledging the receipt of and spreading on the minutes resolution requesting the Board of Supervisors assisting Harrison County Development Commission by providing grant funding available under the American Rescue Plan Act to invest in water, sewer, broadband infrastructure, to make necessary investments to improve access to clean drinking water, support vital wastewater and stormwater infrastructure, and to expand access to broadband internet services in the Commission's Industrial Park.
Motion to acknowledge receipt.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Have anyone add to that?
Nope. Thank y'all. Do I just get with Jackie to find out how to move forward?
We just acknowledge the receipt of the resolution that you made.
What are you
Is there
asking for?
something in
What
particular you want?
particular are you asking for?
We had a list that was submitted with the previous,
Were these considered, Jackie, under the ones we did already?
They were on the list, they have not been formally approved by the board at this point.
Did you turn that list in already?
so these are the improvements that we wanted to make, totaling $765,300. And that will bring our system up to pretty good standard. And it's had, we've invested over $1.2 million in the last several years in this same system of our own money. So we were just trying to get some of the ARPA money to help.
Taxpayer.
I think we're at
Good
the
enough.
point where we can look at this. Have our funds been committed already to the ones we approved?
Yes.
Yeah, she submitted them.
So technically,
I think we still have some left, don't we? We're not at the end of the rainbow, huh? We are.
We
Pretty
gave them
much.
$40 million
that's what I'm asking. Based on the ones we approved before, that took up all our funds.
Not the
Assume-
full 40, but there's other categories that are available, so that's how those things balance.
Plus, it would help if we get the matching.
If we get
If we
matching.
get the matching, that would leave funds available to include these.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If we get the matching, then I would suggest that we include this.
Do we need a motion for that?
If that requires a motion, I so make it.
Second.
Okay, without any further discussion, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I have one question, I want it cleared up if I can, because, do you want us to help you with the grant, or do you want us to provide a grant? I guess that's my question. I'm so we've already
They
voted on it,
don't,
but.
y'all don't receive any of this money, it all comes through us, I assume.
Yeah, we don't.
The
yeah, we
American
were-
Rescue, all that money comes to the county. Y'all, as an individual entity, don't receive any of this money.
No.
So what you're asking for is our
It's
money.
$1 million of our money.
So you're asking us to grant our money to you. That's
Rescue
what I'm
money.
saying, if it's
Yeah, that's
available.
what I was trying to figure
That's
out
okay.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't have.
It's a request for this amount of almost $1 million, 700 and something.
65,300.
And that should be matching upon available.
If available.
If I may, to give kudos, Bucky's closed its sale on the property this week, so Bucky's is coming.
Yay.
That brings, if you want to make, that's the question that I have, Bill, in reference to Bucky, since Tim
That's
brought that
15
up.
million.
According to the newspaper article, MDOT's gonna pay for that road system. So I want that, and Pastor Shan too as a participant, I understand, according to the
I knew
newspaper.
you'd catch that in the
You knew I'd
newspaper
catch it?
article. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it
So
correct?
That in fact is
that relates to some of the.
Not correct.
Some of the responsibilities we got, according to the newspaper article, they gonna do it.
According to him, it's incorrect.
Huh?
But Supervisor
I'm
Ladner
being
knows that.
facetious. I'm being facetious. I know good and well that's not what's happening. I'm being facetious and you know that, Bill. And I'm pointing that
But we
out.
still, the same rules apply. The deal's closed, we've still gotta go find some other friends to help us get that interchange done.
At what
Because it
point-
shouldn't all fall on the
what's the
taxpayers
drop
of Harrison
dead?
County.
What's the drop dead date on providing the money to correct the highway, to do the highway?
Do you know?
There's a drop dead date, but it's coming.
Well, that's what I'm
But
saying.
They're talking about opening them within 2
If
years.
Bucky starts construction, the road is gonna have to be part of it, so
But-
this board's gonna have to make a decision at some point whether we issue those bonds for it or not.
And, I mean, you were
I mean, we're
communicating
gonna have
before
to.
the holidays.
We're committed to it.
I've talked to the attorney,
committed
but, I
to it.
mean, the discussion there is we got to have design, which is the,
Well, all
And
that,
design's been approved and they met on site way before the holidays, right?
The on-site meeting with MDOT was like their field review, which is typically about a 65 to 70% review. I think it was further than that. They had to do what changes were made, which were not significant, and get a final review, so they were very close.
And we had one little kind of right-of-way issue for one of the, what do you call it,
The edge of
roundabouts?
the roundabout.
And that was taken care of with the landowners. So we, you know, it's foot on the gas, when's the ground breaking, when do we expect the bonds to close? Because basically the way it's gonna work is instead of an MDOT having it as a project, it's a Bucky's project, which will help us tremendously timing-wise. But we still need to, when the legislature opens tomorrow, we need to go and beg anybody we can to help us, because, you know, we all agree, if we hadn't stepped up and said that we were gonna put in the interchange, it wouldn't be coming. But we've gotta find partners with all this extra surplus money coming from Washington. We've gotta try to find some money either through the legislature or through the, whatever acronyms coming next for infrastructure.
well, that's my point asking, I use the drop dead date. At
Yeah.
some point, something's gonna have to start on the roadway.
Right. And
And
hopefully.
Bucky's gonna ultimately hold us responsible because we committed to that.
Correct.
so they just need to go look. I rode by Bucky's yesterday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You couldn't get in the parking lot. I mean,
I couldn't get out of the parking lot once I got in the parking lot.
Speaking of
The
that,
Sunday I went.
I understand the board approved any supervisors travel to visit Bucky's. Could we include, like the safety officer to drive us over?
Would you say that?
A driver? Could we include a driver?
Can he park on the interstate and let us walk up to the Buc-ee's?
But anyway, there's a lot of work to be done, and we've got 3 other pretty large deals that we'll find out about this month as well, so it's gonna be a good year.
Good deal.
Great.
So, thank you all for the
Congrats.
support.
Thank you.
Mr. President, before you move on, could you clarify your motion or your
Which motion?
approving, what are we
Oh.
approving?
Basically, we're accepting into their request
So it's
for
not an
this
order
grant.
approving the list?
No,
No.
because
Okay.
we don't know if we
Not yet.
had the funds for it yet.
I
We've
understand
already-
that you made a motion, what is?
To have Jackie look at this and see, and if we have it funding available, once we have all the others approved, to include that as well. I don't know if that clarifies it any better, John, but
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it is.
Next, we have the consent agenda items. Agenda items number 1, 11 through 16 have been placed on the consent agenda. Same opinion to be routine, non-controversial matters, which all supervisors like to agree. Motion,
Motion, second.
any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, motion carried. Item 17, order acknowledging receipt of and approving petition for decreases to the 2020 real property road as recommended by tax assessor. Motion,
Motion.
Second.
discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item 18, order acknowledging receipt of and approving petitions for decreases to the 2021 real and personal property roads as recommended by the tax assessor.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Item 19, order acknowledging receipt of and approving petitions for increases to the 2021 real property roll as recommended by the tax assessor.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 20, under the tax collector order, spreading it upon the minutes, personal changes for the tax collector's office as listed and on file with the payroll administrator and the human resources department.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 21, order accepting the low quote of $10,960.43 from Gunnery Glass LLC for the material installation of glass partitions in the tax collector's office in the First District Courthouse to be paid out of account 001-104-641.
Motion.
Motion. It also includes the budget amendment there. Motion.
I made the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Second.
All in favor, motion say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Item 22, order designing, designating the purchase clerk, the county administrator, county engineer, John Wilson, Derek Bullock, Roger Gillespie, Jeff Cuevas, and any department head as needed as the board representative to receive proposals for consulting services related to RRPA funding infrastructure projects, to evaluate the proposals, to make recommendations to the board regarding contracts to complete work. Give me a motion.
Motion.
Motion, second discussion. I think it's incumbent. Somebody on the board needs to be involved in this as well.
I agree. I'll do it.
There's somebody, and I don't
I'll do
mind,
it.
2 or 3, you
Yeah.
can have any of
So
them.
we need
but
to
make
amend.
sure that some of us are there on this particular
So we
issue.
need to amend this to include any board
And so
supervisor.
Board of Super, it does,
It
yeah,
doesn't say that.
yeah, that's done. And Mike, you know, I see, I don't know if there's any, maybe Tim could be involved in this too. Tim,
Yeah,
about
Tim.
any legal issues?
I don't think the order has to provide that, y'all just tell me when to be there.
Okay.
For me, I mean, I'm the attorney, so if you want me to go fight with Virgil,
I was
Yeah,
wondering,
why
I
is
was like,
Virgil on here?
West
he
Harrison.
represents West Harris.
Then who is Jeff Cuevas?
He works for me.
He works for-
I don't,
So we got 2 people from West
I don't
Harrison.
want to quit, I think we need to look at this.
Virgil's fine, I'm happy
Yeah.
to be involved, you don't really need to add to the order, you just tell me when to be.
We got 2 people from West Harrison.
Yeah.
a little weird. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 23, order approving assumption of 7 streetlights in Walker Farm subdivision, phase 2, located in section 14, township 6, south, range 12, west, Supervisor Board of District 2, in accordance with the Harrison County Land Development Ordinance, and payment of lights currently serving residents to be determined, as recommended by Jacqueline Turney, P.E., Harrison County Engineer. Motion.
Motion. Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving payment of claims listed.
Motion.
Second discussion. Jackie, how many, I guess the question I'm asking is, when is this gonna be concluded?
I'm with you.
You keep paying these funds out for this project, basically, Bob and Gulfport.
Yeah, this
When
is the
gonna-
one that has a total amount that's paid monthly towards that total. And then, we're beginning the right-of-way acquisition process basically this week. So however long that takes, plans are probably 90% complete, ready to go to bid once the right-of-way acquisition is complete.
Okay, you are monitoring this and
Yes,
making
sir.
sure that those fees are
Yes, sir.
appropriate, okay?
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Item 25, order approving payments of claims listed.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Discussion, I hate, This says an emergency generator prevention maintenance. Emergency prevention, I've never heard of that. Generator, emergency prevention maintenance.
It's
That's the way it was worded when I got here. It's really emergency
General.
and prevention, so.
Okay, so
But they,
it's-
they respond if there's an emergency related
Right,
to
it-
one, and then they do some
it
prevention.
appears that, it just appeared that we were paying them for something that they needed to go take care of.
Right,
Is that what that is?
right.
Okay.
Prevention in case of emergency.
Well, you're paying for an emergency generation prevention program. It was just a little confusing, that's all. Sorry.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Item 26, order approving payment of Communications International invoice number P11411737 in the amount of $96,751.28, payable from 097-287-922 for the completion of milestone 1 on the IPMLS microwave system. Cruising to determine the condition of the contract as recommended by the Harrison County Emergency Communications Commission at their meeting on December 21st, 2021. Motion,
Motion. Second.
Second.
discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Motion carried. Item 27, order taking off the table approving the local purchase of a 2018 Ford Transit passenger van in the amount of $44,000 for CASA, payable from the line item 030193915.
Motion to take off the
Second.
table.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item 28, order approving the low quote purchase of 2018 Ford Transit passenger van in the amount of $44,000 for CASA, payable from line 030193915.
Motion to deny.
Second.
If I may, they are aware that this was not done correctly, and they're gonna redo it, so it will be resubmitted maybe at the next meeting for the board.
Okay. Any
Thank
further?
you
Properly.
for straightening that out.
I don't know if I straightened it out, but I tried,
Yeah.
working on it.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 29, order approving purchase of one refrigerator in the amount of $649 and one scanner in the amount of $639.85 for the Newport office located on McElroy Street, Biloxi. Total cost of $1,288.85, payable from 001-181-919.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. I'm fine with them having those things, obviously they need them, but I got a scanner for $140 at Best Buy the other day, and you can get a basic refrigerator I get from a rentals for $8.90, so I'm just curious, is it a special industrial scanner perhaps, or am I making sense? Pam, what do we pay for our scanners? I
I
mean,
don't know off the top of my head, because they
Yeah.
usually come included with the printer, with the copier and the printer normally, but I
Right.
don't know if we're just getting plain set-alone scanners. I'm not sure if they got the information from IT or
It's
not.
like it was recommended, it says it was recommended, also Robert provided us this
Yes.
recommended scan machine.
Oh, Robbie from IT recommended
It
that?
says
Okay.
Robert, I assume that's
Yes.
Robert.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 30, order approving travel for Lorraine Taylor, FIP Family Care Coordinator, to attend this Supervised Visitation Network 24-hour certificate training on February 8th and 10th, 2022 in New Orleans, Louisiana. Get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Item 31, order approving travel for Jean Fayard, Joe Dobson, and Shane Winstead, mosquito control to attend the 2022 Victor Control and MPCA Annual Convention in Starkville, Mississippi on January 18th through 2022. Motion?
Motion?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Item 32.
Mr. President, I got cases 32 through 34 of regular cases before the planning commission. You'd ask that you concur with the recommendations of the planning commission.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Further discussion? All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Unfortunately, appeals start again next week, so.
Okay.
Thank you. Item 35.
Great, thank you.
Resolution of the Harrison County Board of Supervisors approving and implementing Harrison County Board of Supervisors 2022 cafeteria plan for a period beginning on January 1, 2022 and ending December 31st, 2022, and authorize the board president to execute the same.
Motion.
Second?
Is it good menu?
Yeah, no.
They don't have cafeterias anymore, because of COVID. Just kidding.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item spreading upon the minutes, personnel changes of the sheriff's office as listed with the paperwork. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Item 37, order concurring with the county administrator on employment as listed and on file with the paperwork and personnel department.
Motion.
Motion, second?
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 30, the order acknowledging receipt of rebids from Turn Bid Group 1078 asphalt product hot mix plant pickup and in place to any location in Harrison County with the effective date January 3, 2022 through June 30, 2022.
Motion to acknowledge receipt.
Second?
I'll second the knowledge received.
Yeah, and then,
Only.
Okay.
I think Timmy
Okay, Tim, you have something on that?
I'm sorry, I was reading ahead.
wanted
What item number was it?
34.
Now, Tim.
Oh, excuse me,
Smith.
38.
Cool.
Is this, okay, we got a motion and a second, so it's on the discussion. Timmy.
My recommendation is to move to the second bidder of the asphalt, due to the problems we've had and still occurring with issues. First off, they was out of compliance with their mix. They submitted me a new mix and told me in 3 days that they would be able to call us in with the engineers to test their new mix. That's been 2 months ago. I still have a road, Social Lozana Road, that is half paved. It's a serious traffic issue. My office is getting bombarded with calls. My work centers are getting bombarded with calls.
Connie and I are too.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I had to send a crew out right before Christmas
What's
to
the name?
just pave the bridge approaches to keep from that hazard. We've also seen a lot of quality issues here lately. So that's where my recommendation stands, is moving on to the second bidder.
May I?
Along with what we hadn't voted on, acknowledging receipt, I'm prepared to move the acknowledge receipt as well as reject bids and go with the second lowest.
But Tim,
You had 3 bidders on that. So the third bidder was Mallett Brothers. I'm sorry, QD.
but
So would he be the alternate? It's a multi-award bid. Would he be the alternate?
that was my question to our board attorney.
Yes.
I keep
You
seeing
can
it
award
now.
the bid.
We have, excuse
Go
me,
ahead.
we have to have an alternate, because we can't be left in this situation again. This has put a big strain on Harrison County's paving program.
The Biloxi, Tricia was working on mirroring Biloxi's contracts, where if they don't start within a certain amount of time, they automatically go to their
We
alternate.
definitely.
And they've got more than one alternate, so
That's
why
right.
can't we use all of them?
That's right. So today, you
Just put in
need to
the
acknowledge
contract.
receipt and award the bid, as Tim's recommended, to the second
Best and
lowest
lowest.
bidder. The lowest and best bid would be Warren Paving, right? And then the alternate would be, lowest and best would be Huey Stein's.
But why can't we use all of them? is my question.
You could probably
You
go
can
down
add
to
more
a
than
third
one
one, but they're
alternate.
not compliant with the contract. We're gonna-
It wouldn't make sense to use them all if we're rejecting one because of the quality of work.
That's
I
the
wouldn't,
problem there.
I wouldn't accept a second one we rejected to be a second alternate if the quality of work. You don't want the issue is the quality of work and the composition of the asphalt, so. I
Can you-
like, that
Can you
doesn't
put
make
that in
sense.
the contract?
Yes, we've drafted a contract, we're working on that, the board approves it.
That if they don't start or complete a project within 30 or 60 days, we go to the next one?
I don't
Because
see
that's
why you
another
couldn't
issue.
do a third one if you wanted to.
That's my point.
As long as you put in the condition that he has to meet the specs, and they're not meeting them, then you just don't call on them, you go back to one or two. But if one's not available, then two, and then if two's not available, you would have the option of going to three, but you would still know that you've gotta make sure they're doing it.
I think all three is gonna meet the specs, because we wanna make sure that, and you may not choose to take the lowest one because you figure they may not get the
That's
best,
right.
but they all gonna meet the specs.
Well,
Right.
that's what's been the problem, I understand, I don't know, but.
So this
That's the
vote is
problem.
to acknowledge receipt and go to the next bidder. However, will we then vote on the contract,
Yes.
the actual contract that
Yes.
will spell out?
We'll have to bring the
these
contract back to you at the next meeting.
That's
What I would say
We
is,
definitely need the second,
We need all.
include that in there and use it, because we're getting way behind on
Too
our
far
pay.
behind.
We are
We are
very far
all-
behind, and it's put
Way
a
behind.
big strain on this road department.
so I would
May I ask
recommend the
a
order
question?
be that you order acknowledging receipt of the term bid
Mhm.
and awarding the bid to the second lowest and best bidder, Warren, and then the alternate bidder, Mr. Stockstill, and then if you board chooses, you can do a third
I would
contract.
suggest that, do a third,
Yes.
that way we're
I
not
agree.
never in a situation like this.
That they
we
meet
are.
the specifications and the,
Yes.
what about the price?
And, the price is.
Every price goes up.
Yes.
Warren's higher than, they're $2.50 higher a ton than Landshaker's. Huey Stockstill is $100 a ton. So the price steady goes up, and it's all due to the inflation of petroleum.
In addition, y'all, this is only for 6 months. So that means that we're gonna get back on track with all of our annual term bids again. And then I'll be working about March, getting all the specs together and everything, to present to y'all bids on,
Let me ask you something in reference to that. Why would we do 6 months? Because it's obvious that inflation is gonna be,
Right.
part of this issue. Why don't we make this longer? Why would
Let's
we
make
need
it for a
to?
year.
I mean, I'd lock this in at least for a year, or longer if we could.
The reason is that we canceled the previous term bid because of the problems that were being experienced. That's what you're, that's
But
what,
we can still extend this longer, can't we?
I don't see why you can't.
Well, I definitely would suggest that we do that, because it's not gonna get any cheaper.
No, it's probably gonna get worse if you.
Now, I don't know if they base their bids on 6 months, and that might be a problem. If the company, if those who submitted these bids based it on 6 months, that might be an issue, but if we can, if they're willing to do it, extend it for a year, the contract for a year, is that an issue?
Also, Tim, could you look in, I know the state, I'm not real clear with it, the state does like a influx and a decrease as the prices of petroleum go up. I'm not real sure how they do it.
Like a cost of living increase.
Kind of, but
It's a fuel adjustment, that's what it is.
Yeah.
fuel adjustment.
We can look at that, but I mean, right now, the bids don't include that.
Right, well, I'm saying from previous.
Mr. President?
Supervisor Rondo.
This was not bid, this
Tim.
was probably bid for 6 months, wasn't it?
yes.
That may be a issue.
That's what I'm saying.
I believe it did
If-
include a
if-
wording that we could request an extension on it.
Okay, if the board approves the bid, we'll draft the contract and we'll
Bring it back.
All right, good.
We'll figure out that, as long as it complies with the bid laws, then that will be fine. If it doesn't comply with bid law clause, it may just have to go 6 months and then have a renewal provision at the end of 6
If
months.
we could extend it, if it's legal to extend it, I'd suggest that we do it, because it's not gonna get any cheaper.
And Last question for the board is Stocksdale and our land shaker gonna meet, it's not a problem with land shaker, but Stocksdale gonna meet Warren Paven's price?
No.
They're not, okay. Well, they just
They
need
don't.
a second choice.
Right, they don't, well, it's an alternate.
I know.
That's how that works.
I know. I was
So
wondering if they were-
regardless, what's more important, having a half-paved road for sitting out there for a year or getting all of it paved and paying a little more money?
We need to get this done. This is a
bad
bad
situation.
situation that we got out there, I can tell
It's
you
very
that.
dangerous, luckily.
Is that the what Warren couldn't get to though?
No,
That's
No,
one where we
no,
stopped them.
stopped their
because of
quality of-
Asphalt mix.
I know, but Warren was the alternate in my recollection.
They couldn't honor the price
They
Okay,
had bid.
that they.
but they were still the alternate.
Well, I think these POs, we'll talk about it in executive
Okay.
session, but I think there's some issues there, so.
And Mayor, Mr. President, you have talked to the owner, have you talked to the Mr. Robert? And, or has he not?
Yes.
Okay, and he,
He's trying to
He
fix
told
it.
me to get back with me when he finished some jobs and he's never
Just-
gotten back.
Just so the board knows, this issue, we need to discuss this issue about the specs, because
That's-
Timmy and I talked about the specs, and the problem is, the specs we've specified are based on the state aid contract.
Correct.
There are different specs depending on what you're doing, as I understand it. I don't know
Yes,
anything
they're-
about
they're
asphalt, I
mixed.
drive on it,
it
but
is.
They bid just like the other contractors on previous, what we had to cancel. They bid on the ST 9.5, which is a standard 9.5 millimeter mix from the state. Once we started testing, their mixes come back as a block mix. Nowhere's even close in the specifications, and there was, no hydrated lime, no hydrated lime tickets, the whole thing. So that's where the contract had to be canceled, because they was bidding on the same asphalt as the other ones.
And they signed saying that yes, they did meet specs.
Let's call the
That's what
question,
we're in.
please, because I want to bring up this department in executive session.
Okay.
Talk
Is
about
there any further discussion?
I wanted to reflect, my motion reflects the fact that they didn't meet the specifications as well as quality of work. That's why we reject.
it's been rejected.
Yeah,
That one bid.
that one bid, yes.
But we are gonna let them be the third alternative bid, as long as they meet the specs.
As long-
All in favor of that motion,
As
say
long as they
aye.
meet the
Aye.
specs, I wouldn't have a problem.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Aye. I oppose. I oppose. Okay, that motion carries. Item 39, recognize the sheriff or his representative as he reports on the number of persons currently housed in Harrison County Jail facilities and as he discussed other matters.
Good morning. Currently, we have 718, 49 misdemeanors, 104 females, 74 that are cleared state arrest, and 32 federal inmates.
Thank you, Sheriff. Item 40, order adjudicating and approving the memorandum of understanding between the Harrison County School District and the Harrison County Sheriff's Office to provide law enforcement services for 2 years, 2021 through 2023, and spreading the same upon the minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 41, order approving pay application number 1 from J.W. Puckett and Company, Inc. for the construction of the Harrison County Law Enforcement Training Academy in the amount of $58,550.20 payable from 032-201-581 as recommended by Brad Patano, Principal Machado Patano Design Group, and authorizing an interfund loan until grant reimbursement is received.
I make a suggestion with this motion, while we can't include applications 1, 2, and 3 in the same motion. So I'll make a motion to include applications 1, 2, and 3.
So numbers
Approval.
41, 42.
43.
41, 42, and 43. That's 1, 2, and 3.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Second.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 44, Order approving the low quote purchase of one 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee and Champion Dodge Jeep in the amount of $30,605, payable from 001-200-915, and authorizing the county administrator to transfer funds from 001-211-468 to 001-200-915. Motion,
Motion. Second.
discussion?
Yeah, what is this for? Sorry. Who is this for?
Is that
Sheriff's
you?
Department.
What?
Is this for you? Not for me with the numbers.
Any further discussion? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 45, order approving transfer of funds in the amount of $150,000 from 001-211-486 to 001-211-440 for corrections overtime. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Question, what is that coming out of? Which account is coming out of?
Insurance.
Pardon me?
Insurance,
Insurance is available?
because they don't have the employees, full-time employees.
Okay.
They're having to pay overtime.
Yeah, okay.
We did vote on
I
it,
don't
okay,
think so.
call the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 46, order approving public sale agreement with Long Beach Auto Auction, Inc. to conduct a county auction on Friday, January 14, 2022, and authorize the board president to execute the same.
Motion.
Second discussion, only discussion in that backup, the agreement, it spoke of Jackson County and a city instead of Harrison County. I don't, that needs to be corrected. The backup that I received, it spoke of Jackson County in it, and it spoke of a city, the city, rather than the county. Just something you might want to
That was
look
for
at.
the auction?
Huh?
That was for the auction?
That agreement, it said, well, if you go to the backup, 2022 firearms agreement.
Yeah, it does. It says if Jackson County terminates.
And the
Yeah,
county.
if Jackson County terminates or the
That's something they
city,
sent
Yeah, that's what
us.
they sent.
they sent you the wrong one. I
Yeah.
guess.
So, and it has Harrison County Board of Supervisors signed.
Yeah, it has it.
So we just did
Just
that
has the
change.
wrong
Just need to fix.
people in there.
I would approve it subject to those changes.
Yeah.
And change it to Harrison County.
Okay.
We'll fix it.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 47, order authorizing the county inventory clerk to remove surplus guns from the sheriff's office inventory to be sold at a public auction on Friday, January 14, 2022. Assets numbers to be removed are as follows: 16481, 17136, 24526, 19893, 13268, 13267, 13265, 13262, 6158.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item 48, order authorizing the sheriff's office to sell one Glock 22 serial number YUY 415, asset number 23617, to retired Captain John Owensby, for a fee of $1 as followed by Mississippi Code Section 459131. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carried. Item 49, order approving proposed fiscal year 2022 budget amendments as listed.
Motion.
Second.
Second, discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Item 50, order approving mileage reimbursement for in-county travel for the following employees.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carried. Item 51, order authorizing interfund loans and repayment per the attached schedule.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item 52, order acknowledging receipt of November 21 procurement card and travel card as follows.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carried. Item 53, order approving payment of claims listed.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order approving total payment of $11,200 payable from 001457751 to the Gulfport Behavioral Health System for the following.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Can you hear me?
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed,
No.
motion carries. Item 55, order taken off the table approving the repair, resurfacing, and striping of the parking lot of White Plains United Methodist Church, cruising to the terms of the proper usage and indemnity agreement between the church and Harrison County. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 56, consider approving the repair, resurfacing, and striping of the parking lot of White Plains United Methodist Church, cruising to the terms of the property usage and indemnity agreement between the church and Harrison County.
Motion.
Second. It's a voting precinct, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only discussion I have, because we need to review the agreements, and if we're paying them,
We are.
then why would we, if we're
don't-
paying them for the use of the facility, cash payment, $200, $250, whatever it is, then why would we agree to pay the parking lot as well?
Because I,
Yeah, and I'm not talking about this one in particular, there might be others, so I just think we need to
we
look
did
at that.
VFW, but we don't pay them, and I was told we don't pay this church.
No, we do pay how much?
We
What are we
do
paying?
pay them, it's, I think it's $300 a year, hang on one second.
And it-
An election year.
Oh, on election.
And so there's also provision for maintenance, or Tricia, what is it?
Yeah, there's a provision for the, we paid them $300 per election year.
Mhm.
And then we paid, the provision says that the county, the premises is surrendered, the county will surrender the premises to the church along with the keys. The portion designated shall be under the county's exclusive care, custody, and control, and the county shall be solely responsible for keeping the premises clean, safe, and good order, and shall, or any and all upkeep and maintenance.
And that's for year round, or just for the
No,
period
no,
of time that we're using it?
It's for, and that's where it gets debatable. The problem is, we did do infrastructure work to the church on Pops Ferry Road.
We did
We did that
VFW.
before we made a handicap accessibility, and we did that before we entered into the lease, so that was the consideration.
We've done it several times.
This happened, apparently the wear and tear on the parking lot, which we contribute to by using it as precinct, probably occurred after we entered into the lease. It's up to you, we can go back and try to renegotiate it, but, I mean, I think we have done it at one of the Catholic churches. after the
We've done it before as in-kind
We've done
services
it.
in lieu of payment, several times.
In lieu of payment.
Right.
No,
We've paid it in the meantime, but it's, again,
Done this.
if you don't do it, are they gonna cancel the lease, let's find another voting precincts, or do you wanna negotiate with them and we'll do this, but we're not gonna pay you the $300 a year?
Only thing I'm saying is, if that's what we're doing, let's be consistent
Well,
with all of them. I don't know if the leases are different. Are all the leases the same for every voting precinct? It's the same, so we could do it for any of them.
They are, with the exception of the church at Pops Ferry Road and the VFW, they are the same because we redid them after we had to renegotiate with the diocese.
Okay.
So-
That's fine if it's consistent, that's all I want to make sure. I was under the assumption that we either paid or we offered these in-kind services, but we're doing them both.
Well, we have in the past, you're right. This
Yeah.
is just the first one that's come up after the fact.
So we could probably, if you board us, we could probably offer to do that, but not pay them. That'll be a lieu of payment.
Why don't we
I don't
just-
want to make a big issue out of it, I just want to make sure that the lease is applicable to every one of them.
Right.
I didn't think they
We've
were,
done it.
that's why I was asking the question.
We've already set a precedent, so.
The only problem is sometimes they do, like one church, I remember we did a handicap accessible door, but they didn't have that. That was the cost of the lease. So
We restrike.
we've restriped
Handicap
and
Yes,
paid
we've
them.
done.
spaces
We've done.
at another one.
So in-kind service is perfectly permissible, but it's up to the board, in this case, whether you want to do both or go back to them and say, we'll do it, but
I really don't have an issue, I just want to make sure that it was applicable to all of them. And if that's the case, fine.
Call the question.
All right, without any further questions, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item 57, order approving payment of $15,326.41 to Author Planning and Design, invoice 00-2020-16614, professional service on project number STP 024-00054, LPA, Active Living Initiative Service Period November 1 through November 27, 2021, payable from 312-540-555. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item 58, order approving travel for Cynthia Gilly and Sabrina Perry, Harrison County Department of Human Services, to attend eligibility worker training class number 2 from March 7th through 11th, 2022, and March 14th through 18th, 2022 in Jackson, Mississippi. Motion.
Motion. Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item 59, order authorizing budget amendment 001520695 in the amount of $2,000 for the community holiday display held on December 18, 2021 at Alexander Frederick Community Center. Board approved transfer of $2,000 from 002-900-952-001-000-387 on 11/8/20 agenda. Motion.
Motion.
Second, discussion, what account is that coming out of?
It's coming out of the escrow
Okay.
account into the park.
Any further discussion?
Yeah,
All
when
in
it
favor-
says display, is this something we use again?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just seems high, okay.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, motion carried. Item 6, order authorizing 2021 board president to execute the senior services match agreement and membership agreement between SMPDD and Harrison County Board of Supervisors as discussed in the 2021 budget hearing, fiscal 21-22 county contributions. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carried. Order approving amended quarterly job report and timeline for submission to the Mississippi Development Authority regarding Gulfport Highland Development LP. Motion.
Motion.
Second discussion. Tim, on these covenants, and I'm reading all that, I think there's some conditions have to be met later this year in April. I saw where they had to hire a marketing group. Have they done that?
No.
No. And what happens now, what's gonna happen at the end of April, whatever those cutoff dates are in April, if those criteria are not met, what, are we gonna have to be
As far as
stuck with this?
Yeah, as far as the county is concerned, the question will be whether or not the grant has to be paid back.
Okay. Second question, I read in there was something about there was a change of ownership, and that there was something in there about change of some ownership, and that the new owners, if I read it correctly, were not aware of and are not responsible for this MDA agreement.
Yes, sir. That was not the ownership of the development. That's the ownership that originally there was Camellia Healthcare. It was one of the tenants at the facility. They sold to I forget the insurance.
Okay, that particular,
And so when
Yeah.
the developer sold the property, he didn't put the covenants in, he didn't have job requirement reporting in there. That's why these covenants have become necessary that MDA is asking for to force tenants
force that
to
new tenant,
provide.
that new owner to
Provide the job requirements.
The job requirements, okay.
And part of the problem has been the no ability to make the companies that go into this place provide us the job number which satisfies the grant. Now, the problem is are they gonna meet those requirements?
Do we have any kind of claim on that property if they forfeit, if those conditions are not met?
Yes, we did do a hold harmless and identification agreement a couple of years ago because we were having a problem with them. So the county will have some recourse against the entity that owns the property now, not against the individuals, but at least the owner of the property. The grant was used to build the roadways and the infrastructure, so it's a little bit awkward in that if you get the roads and the infrastructure back, what have you got? It's
Same thing we'd have.
not a whole lot, but we did put some language in there that broadened that when we started having problems with them. And I think the county will have a claim that can be enforced against the property as a whole, which gives us some chance for recouping it.
Okay.
We may be running a development.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering how we gonna do that.
All right, appreciate it. Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item 62, order adjudicating tax sale of August 30, 2021 on tax parcel number 060280103000 for 2020 taxes, erroneous and does void in ab initio and for the related purposes.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
And just so the board knows, this was the taxpayer did pay their taxes, got misapplied to the wrong property, got sold for taxes, so it's just fixing that problem.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item 63, order authorizing the approving the repair and resurface of Anderson Avenue within the city of Gulfport.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
Thank you, indicate
Where
as
it's
per
coming from.
interlocal agreement.
Doesn't say that in
It's
the
still
order.
the same.
Does it say in the order? Okay.
It should.
If you want to make a motion to include that?
Yeah, it does.
And on the discussion and reading that, there were some conditions about using a particular paving company, I think Warren, that the city has. Now, if the city has a contract with a paving company, we're using their paving company.
Yeah, they would have no contractor, but
Low bidder for Harrison County.
I'm sorry, Tim?
they stated that they wouldn't use any contractor but theirs.
Theirs. I just wanted to point that out, that they had their.
That's because they
How
feel
can
like
you do
it's
that?
substandard.
Yeah.
Well,
You're paying for it, we choose the contract.
You only paying half of it. They're really.
just contributing money. They
That's
requested
right.
financial assistance for the road.
They're doing it, you just contributed half of the money for it.
I think they felt like they were aware of the deficiencies in ours, that's why this came up.
They what?
They were aware of the
No, they have a
deficiencies.
contract with them.
I know they have a
According to that-
contract with them.
According to that
We
agreement.
paved roads in the city of Gulfport since I've been here.
Yeah, sure have.
We never used that contract.
Well, it's in that agreement,
We're just saying we just
it's
never
in that
had.
agreement that you use a city contractor.
I think I brought
Then
that up because we
then
were so
that
far
goes
behind.
With the interlocal, then that's up to that individual supervisor, I mean, I guess, it's up to the board.
No,
If we're
that's-
paying, we should be using that contract.
It's up to the board.
It's up to the board whether or not you contribute money or you're gonna contribute services by doing it.
They doing, all you doing is contributing the money for the project.
Half of it.
They're doing whatever's necessary to
Correct.
carry it out.
And that was done for Biloxi, what was the road, Timmy, that Biloxi's doing, and we're just paying half. We're doing the groundwork. I
Wells
guess.
Ferry.
Wells
I
Ferry.
guess we have the
Same
same
kind of
contract,
deal.
I got the same contract.
We got, yeah, that was just the first
Well,
time
since
that
we don't
I've
have a
seen in
contract.
the agreement.
We have the same
in that.
contractor now, Marla.
But it's the first time I've ever seen in those resolutions that they have a contract. For example, cities that I deal with, or in my district, when we did an interlocal agreement and worked with them, it was through the county's contract. This one is through the city's contract.
There's
It's
two
less
cities that
expensive.
have contracts.
That's why.
City of Biloxi, City of
And
Gulfport.
Gulfport, yeah.
Mr. President, do you have a suggestion to add the release of funds upon completion of the project? Because you don't want to send the money now, right?
No, we're not going to. Tim, I would think.
No, you would send it
I
ahead
think,
of time.
I think our attorney's gone over the contract pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, I wouldn't be issuing no check until they send you a bill.
They send you an invoice after.
The language.
They always wait until after it's over.
I'm not arguing against the interlocal agreement, I'm simply pointing out
Yeah.
that contract, that's the first time I've noticed in any interlocal agreement we have with a sister that, a city, that we use their contract.
Pretty much a demand,
Pardon?
pretty much a demand,
That's right.
use their contract.
A call question.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 64, order accepting the right-of-way easement for improvements to the Moran Road Ox Bridge Replacement Project from Gregory Edmund Moran and Daniel Joseph Moran Jr. and for related purposes. Motion,
Motion.
second,
Second.
discussion?
Tim, can you refresh our memory on this?
This is a LSVP
Oh, I'm
project
sorry.
through.
That's fine, Tim's got it.
Okay, Doug.
It's an
Doug,
LSVP project
Okay.
on Moran Road. It's Box Bridge, we are replacing an existing bridge.
Okay, I just didn't remember.
This is the last easement too, so.
We'll go to bid.
It's been approved a while ago, all we're
Yes.
doing is approving the.
Right,
This is in your
we'll
district,
advertise it.
Marlon? Yeah, this is in your district.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 65, order approving the waiver of rental fees required for the Long Beach Fire Police Department to host the annual Resilience of Coastal Kids Foundation Christmas Party on December 10th, 2022 at the West Harrison Civic Center.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 66, order approving the city of Diablo's use of the county equipment needed to assist in hosting the annual North Bay Mardi Gras Parade on February 25th through 27th, 2022. Motion.
Motion.
Second, to include, pursuant to our interlocal agreement.
Got that, Brittany? All right, any further discussion?
That was on 67?
Yes.
No,
No, it's
66.
66.
Oh, I'm sorry. 66. I'm sorry.
Second.
That's cool. No wonder I was confused.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Item 67, order adjudicating and authorizing expenditures as listed and necessary to advertise the opportunities for resources of the Harrison County.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed,
Oh,
motion carries. Item 68, discuss the CDC and Mississippi Department of Health revised COVID-19 quarantine requirements.
If I,
Okay,
Maria with the HR has asked if we're gonna go back to the 5 days. Maria, would you explain?
So the CDC recommends that, or suggests that with the Omicron variant, you're most contagious 1 to 2 days prior to showing any symptoms, up to 3 days after you start showing symptoms. So they've reduced the requirement of quarantine down to 5 days and return to work after, as long as you wear a mask, a well-fitting mask for the next 5 days. So do we want to follow what's that?
do they require negative tests?
No, sir.
No, they get away.
In 12 days, you're gonna test positive anyway with the test.
Yeah.
5 days.
Yeah.
So 12 days, you're gonna, if you have Omicron, you're gonna test positive for 12 days. That's what the news said this morning.
Yeah.
So the test does no good.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta test positive anyway for it.
Another reason that they want to shorten it to 5 days is to relieve the burden on the employers of having a 10-day quarantine.
So do we need to
You
adopt
said
that?
that's why they wanna do it, not for medical reasons?
Do we need a motion to adopt that?
Medical reasons, but also,
Well, I'll move
it's a
that.
moving target, so.
Motion.
I'll
Second.
make a motion that we follow the CDC guidelines with the 5-day follow-up.
And I have one other question.
As
Do
they
we have
change
people out, do we have people out that need to know this?
We do.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
they're
Start
not gonna
today,
get
so.
14 days, or it starts today? Are we gonna go
Well,
retro,
most
or?
of them's been there.
Most of them have been out since the
The
29th, 28th, 29th. So they're due to come back this week anyways.
But they have to, you know, if you're now, since the government lifted the state of emergency, it's all sick leave and personal leave. when
Right.
you're out.
Okay.
That's important.
They have to, oh, that's very important to know. that-
Yes, they know that.
Okay. Sick leave there.
Sick leave is sick
First.
leave.
Just sick leave and, or personal, if you don't have sick leave, or your comp time comes off first, but they have to use leave
A
no
lot of
after.
people at work here.
So we did get a motion, get a second to adopt this.
I did, I
Okay.
second.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, okay, motion carried. All right, Tim, you have anything?
Yes, I would request the board to go into executive session, discuss a list of matters. You want me to list of opioid litigation I need to discuss with the board, which is pending litigation. Canal Road, which is both negotiation for purchase of property and potential litigation because it's in a domain. Margarita, well, we're gonna wait for Margarita until next week, I think. Potential litigation, RW Development, Long Beach Harbor, and Secretary of State versus Alders. I need to discuss with the board those pending litigation matters. And then I think we have a personnel matter we need to discuss involving the purchasing department.
Yes,
Purchasing what? Okay.
involving the purchasing department.
Here are no reasons we ready to go in now?
Go into
Here
executive
are no
session.
reasons I move to go into executive session.
A
I'll
second.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
But I have to go to the bathroom.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, Tim, can you?
During the course of executive session, the board discussed the matters previously listed. No action was taken in the board.
Tim, do you need action on those easements?
I would
Mr.
request-
Powers?
Yes, I will make a motion to offer the appraised value on the easements necessary for Canal Road expansion.
And if not accepted, to proceed with eminent domain proceedings.
Yes, sir.
I'll second the motion.
Add that. Thank you.
Okay, it's been, there's been further discussion on that motion. If not, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, okay, motion carries.
What about our personnel matter?
Oh, yeah.
I wanna
Yeah.
address that on Monday or today?
Whatever you, whatever.
Maybe Monday.
Let's do it
You'd rather
Monday.
make Monday?
Let's do it Monday,
Yeah.
Do we have anybody take his place?
so we can,
Okay.
Okay, before we adjourn, we have to go around the horn. We only got to 10, so John.
we have-
I'm sorry.
I got my
Well, I would request a third meeting, because I think I've talked to the comptroller, she has requested it also, the third meeting for the month of January. I didn't know, can't remember why she was requesting it.
Because we
Let
won't
me-
have,
let me
is it
ask
because we won't have another meeting till?
Mhm.
Jennifer was
Yeah,
requesting.
getting into the new
You
year,
have 3 weeks between your meetings.
so let me see.
Yeah,
That sounds wonderful.
Because there's
Go on.
five,
you got 3 weeks
because
between.
there's 5 Mondays.
Yeah,
There's
so
5 Mondays.
Yeah.
So we
in
got-
I
January.
really think because you're starting off, the beginning of the year.
Early.
We want to,
That's why,
let
that's
me
why.
find out, if you move on, I'll let you know.
Just, let's pick a date.
Okay,
Just pick a date.
Yeah.
what's the dates available? What we got?
So we got a meeting,
17th and 24th.
the 17th or the
17th
24th,
is a
what do y'all
holiday.
prefer?
17th a holiday? Has to be
Doesn't have to be a
24th.
Monday, though.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it doesn't have, but 17th is a holiday.
So y'all wanna do it,
Was it the 18th or the?
18th is a
That's a
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
19th is a Wednesday.
Would y'all do it that week or the week after? Because that
Yeah,
that
probably,
gives
because
you-
that's
The week
extra week,
after,
yeah.
the 24th is a Monday.
24th is a Monday, 25th is a Tuesday.
You wanna do Monday?
What works? Do 24th? Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it, in Gulfport or Biloxi?
Gulfport.
Thank you.
That night.
Boy, it's nice to
Thanks
have
a
the
lot,
president.
Ken. Thanks a lot, man.
All the special meetings are gonna be in Gulfport, y'all.
I was only thanking him for the third meeting.
You didn't say what?
I know it. Come on now.
Okay. Doc, you got anything?
No, sir.
I don't have anything. Supervisor Martin?
Yeah, I got a list from Brittany here. We way behind on all these appointments. Did y'all see all that?
I saw him.
So I guess I'll go ahead and take one off our list. I'd like to reappoint Rick Daniels to the Harrison County Development Commission.
Second?
Okay, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carried.
That's the only one I'm talking to. I don't know about the rest of it.
Brittany, can you get me a copy of that?
I sent it,
You
I'll
sent
send
it?
it again. I sent it to all the assistants to give
Okay.
to you guys.
I'll talk to Karen Saw. You got Stock, but I think that's Karen Saw.
Is there any statute,
So I'll talk to her.
is there any statute talks to that, that we don't renominate? Is there any?
If you remember, they had a case in Long Beach.
That's in traditions, isn't it?
It's always been the law, not Long Beach, basically, Lewis, it's always been the law
Karen
that
Saw,
somebody's not.
District 1, 2, and 3.
That's
I
the
knew it was
utility
not
authority
made.
is for
1, 2,
District
and 3.
The one that's currently holding the office continues on
Or the appointment.
until the board.
There is a continuing.
Well, they changed that law, doesn't apply to everything, but
And Roy
they've now
M.
changed it.
Joe,
I don't know if Roy M. wants to do
Joe
it.
appoints them and we have to approve it.
He can
Well, I don't
reappoint
think Joe
somebody,
appointed
Yeah,
but you have to
but
do
you
something.
did, you need to.
She lives out there.
I know she lives up there.
It had
but I
to do
don't
with,
think appointed
you
her.
remember basically it's got some controversy involved Don
He picks
Rafferty, I don't
Last
know
time I
why.
looked, he's not an elected official.
He
And they
picks
passed a
some
law
shit.
that
He picks
No
some,
shit.
no, the way the
issue
law
about holding
reads, it's
over.
the
I don't
only
care.
utility authority that reads
Some
it.
things that may not apply to
He picks them.
typical legislators, they mess
I think
up
you
the
gotta
law.
go down.
Yeah, Supervisor Powell, you have anything?
Yes, please. Are we in publicly going?
Yes.
I wanted to correct myself on number 29 when I said that 1,288 was too much for a refrigerator. I checked with Pam and looked at it again. It was actually for a small fridge and scanner. And Robbie said that's the total, and it says total. And Robbie from IT did suggest the scanner because he said it could do faxing as well, which they still use in youth court. And then I want to say congratulations to Al Jones. He's our new Lyman Senior Center director. We're going to be doing pickleball lines because we have extra space in our area. And we're going to be doing branding called Soaring with our seniors. And so my girl Maggie and our wonderful Kim Compton are going to be working on that with us with that. And what was the other thing? Oh, I'd like to remove the 2 old FEMA trailers from behind the fairgrounds. We've had a few homeless people coming in and out of there, and one of the sides is falling in. Greg said he formerly used it for storage, but doesn't really need it anymore. So if y'all don't care, we talked about it. Pastor Clark wanted it, but he says he doesn't even want them anymore.
Do we need to declare them junk
Yeah, they
or
have to be
something?
declared surplus.
They have to be declared surplus.
Declare them junk, throw them away?
Yeah, or can we even auction them off if they are junk? I mean, nobody
If they
wants
got
them that I know
value,
of.
You have to have a value.
How do we, what's the
If we have no
process?
value, then they can sell it as scrap metal, or we can.
Yeah,
we've
whatever y'all
had-
wanna do.
We've had other people give us proposals that they would move them, and they would get to keep them.
They get to
We
keep
did it.
'em, that's a-
Whatever y'all want.
available,
Yeah.
so-
It's a
Yeah,
slip.
I don't care.
To
We can
avoid
try
it.
that. We can
Right.
try
Dispose of
that.
them.
Right, take them off the property now.
But go ahead and declare, make a motion to declare them as surplus.
Okay,
Okay, we get a motion?
yes, motion to declare the 2.
Second. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Thank you. And that's all.
Okay, Ms. Pam,
I don't have anything.
Sheriff?
I got one question for Tim. Did Herman get with you, reference the ordinance, for animal ordinance or dog ordinance? He's supposed to get with you on it. We need to, if I can get it, I'll bring it up next week. But there's part of the ordinance that county ordinance on dogs, picking them up and what restrictions we have and, that needs to be changed, because it's hurting us in court and hurting us from taking these animals from the people that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
But I'll get with him and let him get with you and figure it out.
I'll shoot him an
Did
email
he have a,
She'll tell you,
like a draft?
because I couldn't remember.
Yeah, there's something, I've got a draft and I'd rather you and Herman sit down and figure out the changes and kind of think about it.
Okay, before we go, Jennifer, you want to, would you discuss that third meeting?
There's I believe it's a 4-week gap between this meeting and the first meeting in February.
but it will also allow the road department to complete their 4-year road plan, which has to be spread on the minutes by February 1st.
Okay.
And since our meeting's not till the 7th, they
Could be
would
a
be
problem.
non-compliant if they didn't.
And is that meeting at 9:30?
Yes.
Yes.
Bingo.
And I know it's hard, we can,
That's okay.
kind of, whoever does the agenda restrict that agenda. I don't know.
Payments, to
We don't
payments.
wanna be here.
You got a whole full meeting, huh?
I will put, when I send out my emails,
We
it's
use
just for
John.
payments only.
Unless it's something that just.
Unless that's something, I
Contract,
don't
you know,
wanna
something
be.
that actually
That
has to
can-
Contract.
Yeah, stuff that can be taken care of.
Well, if nothing further, we kind of getting to me and Doc cooking the milk time by the time we get out.
Motion to
I need something
recess. Motion to
the-
recess.
second.
Second. All in favor, of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
I guess, Tricia, what would be called